time. Well, if you were with us for our first semi-final, you'll know to us that Coronation Street means the Salford Lads Club. And in 1 hour from now, we will know who's going to challenge Manchester in the final of Henry Cooper's Golden Belt.
Well, this is the action we saw 2 weeks ago in semi-final number 1, and Manchester, the defending champions, got through to the final then by beating Belfast 6-2.
Tonight it's Liverpool against North London, and having looked at both teams, it takes a braver man than me to pick a winner, Henry.
Well, I suppose I've got to stick my neck out a little bit. The Liverpool boys have got a lot of pride, and they'll want to win. They want to be like their football team. They want to win. But being a Londoner, I've got to stick my neck out for the London boys, and I think they can do it because they had such a bad showing last year, didn't they, in the thing?
That's right.
I think this year they want to prove that the London boys are as good as the rest of the country. So take your pick. How's that?
Right you are, Henry. Liverpool against North London it is, and we're ready for the first bout of the evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 41-kilogram contest. 3 rounds of 1.5 minutes each round between and introducing in the red corner, representing Liverpool Boys Clubs, Lee Carroll. And in the blue corner, representing North London Boys Clubs, Colin Hedge. Carroll red, Hedge blue.
Round 1 then, between Lee Carroll of Liverpool in red, Colin Hedge of North London in blue. Carroll, the Liverpool lad, 14 years old, Colin Hedge, the Londoner, 15. They weighed in just below 41 kilos, that's around 6.5 stone. Lee Carroll, the Liverpool boy, slightly the taller of the two. 8 contests in this semi-final for the right to meet Manchester in the Golden Belt final next week. Lots of support for the northern boy at ringside, and not least from his mum, Mrs. Josie Carroll. Carroll a little bit out of range with his jabs at the moment. And that's the bell for the end of round 1.
Come on now, Lee, it's up to you. Get that jab working, get in range, push him back. See there? Hey, come on. Hey, you should beat this fella, shouldn't you? Keep the speed, keep going. Have you? All right, keep working all the time.
Round 2 then, between Lee Carroll of Liverpool in red, Colin Hedge of North London in blue. Not too much in it after the first session. Little Colin Hedge trying to work for the openings. And Carroll more or less successfully managing to keep him at bay with that long left jab of his. Gets his head jolted back there, though, by one of Hedge's lefts. And a warning from referee Terry Cole to Colin Hedge to keep his head up. Nearing the end of the second now. And still very much anyone's contest. There's the bell.
Stay in the middle of the ring. Today, don't stand there doing nothing. Keep flicking the jab. And underneath, over the socket. Bend your legs. Don't duck forward. Bend your legs. Under and over. 2 hands fast. Right? Good last round. You've got this coming up here. Right.
The start of round 3 then. And it really is anyone's contest. Perhaps Carroll, the Liverpool boy, slightly ahead going into this last session. Tended to get a little bit wild, the Liverpool boy, Lee Carroll, but it doesn't really matter. There goes the bell for the end of the third and final round. Well, as I say, not an easy one to assess by the 3 judges, each of whom scores 20 points to the winner of every round and an appropriately lesser total, usually 19 or 18, to the loser. Well, referee Terry Cole draws both boys together, and we wait the announcement from our MC,
Ladies
Pete
and
Darlow.
gentlemen, the winner of that contest by a unanimous decision, Carroll in the red corner.
Carroll's got it, a unanimous verdict, and that really quite a significant one, because we've just learned that one of the North London boxers
The
cannot
judges
box at
scored
his
the
weight,
contest,
so he forfeits that
60-59,
contest. So Liverpool now
59-57,
are 2 bouts to 0 up.
60-56.
Lee, well done. Was that a difficult fight for you?
Yeah, close.
He was a little bit shorter than you. Did that make it that much harder, having to punch down to him with your jabs?
Yeah, all my punches were going over top of his head, really.
What was your trainer telling you between rounds?
Said work harder, stay in the centre of the ring. So I've done that.
Well, I don't know whether you know, but one of the London boys can't box at his weight, so that really means now that thanks to your win, Liverpool are now 2-0 up. So do you reckon you've got a good chance of meeting Manchester in the final?
Yeah, a very good chance.
If you get through to the final, do you reckon Liverpool will beat Manchester?
Yeah. It'll be close, but I reckon Liverpool will win.
You do you?
Yeah,
Absolutely sure?
sure.
OK, well done. If you've been with us throughout the series so far this year, you'll know that to each of our venues, Henry's been inviting along a pal of his from the world of boxing. Tonight, though, he's got 4, and during the match, we'll be meeting a talented local artist, football manager Dave Sexton, a former world middleweight champion, and finally, the professor who's convinced that boxing can't damage the brain. But at this stage, let's start with the artist, and his name is Harold Riley.
What's your connection with the club here?
Well, I was a member when I was at school. I was a member here at the Salford Lads Club. And my life's work really has been recording the city. L.S. Lowry, the painter, began it in 1901 and went on till 1950. And since that time, I've recorded the city in paintings and drawings, photographs.
Oh, well. And do you paint anything like Lowry? Are you a similar style to him? Or?
Well, I paint the same streets, Henry, so consequently they look a bit the same. But I also paint portraits, and I paint 2 portraits a year, and those take me all over the world, really. But I consider really the most important part of my work is still painting the streets and the people here. Like most of the great city centres, I suppose all the buildings have gone, the streets have gone, it's changed.
It's going to be changing, yeah. Well, lovely to speak to you. And now look who we got this side. Another great guy who's got a great football connection in the city. But before he had football, I think there was a lot of boxing connection in your family, Dave.
Well, my dad was a very good middleweight before the war, and he actually boxed Jock McAvoy for the British middleweight title here in Manchester.
Did he here in Manchester,
yes,
was it? Yeah.
Bellevue, Manchester. And my dad's dad was a bare fist fighter, and his two other brothers were professional fighters. Yeah. So I'm brought up in the boxing.
So you come from a real background similar to myself, and yet you was what, never interested in taking up boxing?
Well, I used to do it up until I went, in the army, up to 20. And then I signed professional football, and you couldn't box amateur when you was a professional then.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
so, but I wasn't. I mean, I didn't. My brother loved boxing, but I love football. So I stuck to the football. It's great to come here tonight and see the club fights.
Well, it's a great atmosphere, isn't it? I mean, this is all basically the grassroots of boxing, isn't
I can remember
really?
my dad coming to see my first fight, a similar situation to this, and I didn't know, but I was boxing against an ex-schoolboy international. That was my first fight, and he hit me in the belly in the first round, and I got on my skates for the rest of the fight. And on the way home, I said to my dad, "How do you think I did?" He said, "I thought you used your feet well," he said.
Lovely. Yeah.
This is a 52.5 kilogram contest. 2 rounds of 1.5 minutes and 1 round of 2 minutes. Between and introducing in the red corner, representing Liverpool Boys Clubs, Andrew Murphy. And in the blue corner, representing North London Boys Clubs, John McHugh. Murphy red, McHugh blue.
So the score then in this semi-final, Liverpool 2, North London 0, as we begin this next contest. Andy Murphy of Liverpool in red, John McHugh, the North Londoner, wearing blue. We can see right away Andy Murphy's a southpaw, right hand, right foot forward. And the traditional counter to the southpaw, the right hand over the top of the guard. McHugh's a member of the St Pancras Club. He's been boxing 8 years now, and that means since he was just 8 years old. Andy Murphy, well, he's got a very impressive record indeed. He's a reigning National Association of Boys Clubs champion. He's also won 4 Northwestern school titles as well. Well, John McHugh, well, fighting back bravely. But I think a slugging match is just what Andy Murphy wants. And there goes the bell for the end of the first. And I rather suspect that to beat this boy, Murphy, McHugh's got to come up with something just a little bit special.
Don't let him settle. And move round to the left with this one, all right? And then jab, 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 and get in there and bang, 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 bang. Hooks, left, right, left hook. Don't stop throwing them. You understand? Don't let this kid settle. He's got you on the end of that big lead. Go to him.
Have a round. Stay with 4.
Round 2 then between Andy Murphy of Liverpool in red, John McHugh of North London in blue. Andy Murphy, the favourite to win this, the southpaw lad, current NABC champion. John McHugh, checkered record, 48 bouts, 24 wins, 24 defeats. Remember, no such thing as a draw in amateur boxing. And Murphy's got his mum here too.
Come on, Jimmy first.
Well, he's got obvious class, hasn't he, Andy Murphy? Got a little bit lazy there and caught. McHugh taking some stick for his pains, but trying to give as good as he gets. All credit to him for that. Well, McHugh's face reddening up under the impact of Murphy's punches as the bell ends for round 2. And as Henry joins Mrs. Murphy.
What do you think there?
I think he got that one.
He's getting a bit saucy, wasn't he? Doing a touch of the Muhammad Ali's there, wasn't he? You know, dropping his hands a bit and going back.
He's always like that.
He likes.
He's always been like that, though.
You get very uptight. You get very nervous watching him.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I fight with him every round. The husband always says, "You can't go no more, you're barred."
Well, Mr. Murphy looks a touch under pressure himself, but it's the London corner who should be doing the worrying.
So what punches you like? Go out there, don't leave him alone.
Round 3 then, between Andy Murphy of Liverpool, John McHugh of North London. Liverpool, appropriately enough, in the all-red strip, North London in blue. The reigning Boys Club national champion, showing obvious class in this contest.
That's it. Come on, work inside now and all.
Getting a little bit cocky there and tagged for his pains, trying a bit of the old fancy footwork. Warning from referee Walter Skirrow for careless use of the elbow. Good right uppercut from McHugh there.
Box him.
Murphy bleeding from the nose and McHugh in a little bit of distress now, taking a standing count. Referee Walter Skirrow taking a careful look, and he's counted him out on his feet. Well, a wise decision. Murphy making his superiority very clearly felt in that third and final session. He's a good young boxer.
That was a good finish. He's
Yeah.
a good, strong puncher, your boy. He's got a good punch.
He's brilliant, that's all I can say.
He's brilliant now.
Here's
That's
his
good.
brother.
That's recommendation from him. And that's his young brother, is it? Are you a boxer?
Yeah, I'm hoping to follow his footsteps.
Oh, yeah. Well done.
Ladies and gentlemen, McHugh not being in a position to defend himself, Murphy in the red corner is the winner.
And it's real backs-to-the-wall stuff for North London, really needing a win to stay in this semi-final. Round 2 then, between Eddie Dwyer of Liverpool in red and Neville Barnes of North London in blue. Well, Barnes has got the better record. Had 14 contests and won 10 of them. Dwyer's had 12, won 6, lost 6. And Dwyer from a famous fighting family. His uncle, Pad Dwyer, ABA light middleweight champion in 1965. Well, not the tidiest of fights. A lot of mauling and close quarter work as the bell goes for the end of the second. The referee, you'll have noticed, giving them every chance to punch in that round, but not hold. And I know that one of Henry's guests, Terry Downs, former world champion and a real character, feels very strongly about that.
A lot of our amateurs, I think, get spoiled by officials, referees, not allowing guys to fight inside. Consequently, when they turn professional, they've been boxing amateur, jab and run or stick and move for 4 or 5 years. Now, all of a sudden, they don't know how to fight inside when they become professional.
So you agree, really, that I suppose what body punching in this country, especially in amateur boxing, is a bit of a dying art now?
Yeah, well, some of them referees want to be the bloody stars, don't they? You know, they think they're more important than the fighters. The referee's job is to be in there, be control of the fight, and be not noticed, unseen. But some of them make themselves so busy, all you see is a blooming ref.
Yeah, well, controversy in every mouthful he gives us, but it's great stuff, isn't it? Now, you've done most of your amateur boxing in the States, didn't you? I believe at one time you got into a position to have represented America at the Olympic Games.
Well,
what happened on that?
Didn't exactly get in a position. I fought my way through to the finals of the Olympic tryouts in 1956. And some smart geezer come along on the night of the final and said to me, if I win it, I couldn't represent the States because technically I was still British. And I was sick as a pig, so I went out and hammered the guy, and they sent the guy that I beat.
So if you could give a youngster a tip in his boxing career, what would stand him in good stead through his rest of his career, what would that be, Terry?
It depends which amateur and which fighter. They all vary. You can't train. You know. What are you asking me questions? You know better or as well as I do that each fighter's an individual. There's the basic things they got to have. They've got to do a lot of road work for stamina, basic things in the gym. But some guys need more sparring than others. You've got to teach each one individual, really. Up to a certain standard, it's okay to teach them the fundamentals. But then as they progress, you've got to pick out their weaknesses and their good points and work on that.
The third and final session then between Eddie Dwyer of Liverpool in red, Neville Barnes of North London in blue. Barnes, we've already seen before this season on the Golden Belt, had a unanimous points win over Cardiff's Carl Stevens in the quarterfinals. Well, Barnes certainly the young man with more ideas than Dwyer, who tends to charge in, hang on, and seemingly hope for the best. Well, a little cut underneath Dwyer's left eye. Referee Walter Scarrow has a look at it, says box on. And that almost certainly caused by heads. Barnes working in his right hand, well behind the jab there. He should be taking this. Certainly not short of support, Neville Barnes, as you can probably hear. That cut underneath Dwyer's left eye starting to bleed again, but no way is it going to spoil the outcome of this fight. There, in fact, is the bell, and now we'll have to wait for the judges to do their sums. Well, North London need this one.
Ladies and gentlemen,
have they got it?
Winner of that contest by a unanimous decision, Barnes.
Yes,
in the
they have.
corner.
And Neville Barnes has put them back with a chance at 1 bout to 3.
The judges scored the contest 58-60, 57-60, 58-59.
And we're ready now for contest number 5.
In the red corner, representing Liverpool Boys Clubs, Sean Hogg. And in the blue corner, representing North London Boys Clubs, Dominic Shannon. Hogg red, Shannon blue.
So, 2 15-year-olds here then, in Hogg and Shannon, and this contest made at 47 kilos, or around 7 stone 5. Sean Hogg, the Liverpool boy, normally boxes for the St Helens Star Amateur Boxing Club, one of the most famous amateur clubs in the country. Produced, among others, the current professional Commonwealth flyweight champion, Keith Wallace. And there's the bell for the end of round one.
Hey, Vicar.
Sean Hogg, he's a national schools finalist.
Not punching fast enough.
And now let's
Okay.
look at Dominic Shannon.
Don't do it. You ain't got to do a lot of work with him. All right? He's just coming out. He's crude. What you're doing, you're pulling your right hand back, and he's coming in with his left hand clumping you. You work behind the two left hands.
The start of round two then between Sean Hogg of Liverpool in red and Dominic Shannon of North London in blue. Well, what do you think about this particular fight, Henry?
I think these two boys are trying to stand up and box a bit, and that's what I like to see in this amateur boxing and boys club boxing. The London boys, he's got quite a good left hand, and both boys are thinking, they're using their brain.
Certainly can see the Liverpool boy, Sean Hogg, actually working for his openings, can't you?
Well, that's it. He thinks he's slightly outgunned and outreached, and he's bobbing and weaving and keeping nice, tight defence, and he's doing quite well, I think. You know, it's one of the most interesting bouts I've seen this evening.
So one more round to go then, and this really is very close indeed. North London 3-1 down, just cannot afford to lose.
1 minute and a half. Right. It's all over behind the shouting.
Long games, he's off you go, Sean. Get suffering.
The third and final round then between Sean Hogg of Liverpool in red and Dominic Shannon of North London in blue. And as Henry was saying, two good young boxers these. Dominic Shannon, the North London boy, only been boxing 18 months, had 9 contests in that time, and only dropped 1 decision. Sean Hogg, who, like Dominic Shannon, is 15, had been boxing 5 years. And the North London boy swinging things his way this round. There's the bell for the end of a vastly entertaining and skillful contest. And if there's any justice in this world, well, Shannon will get the nod.
Okay. You're doing all right, Sean. Yeah, lad. Go on. Referee wants you.
Well, North London need this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that contest by a unanimous decision, Shannon in the blue corner.
And they've got it. Dominic Shannon with a unanimous points decision puts North London
The judges
right back
scored
into
the
the semi-final.
57-59, 57-60, 56-60.
Now, recently, the British Medical Association issued a report saying that boxing might cause brain damage. Well, tonight, with Henry Cooper, meet the neurologist, Professor Brian Jeanette.
So have you enjoyed watching the boxing this evening? Or?
I wouldn't say perhaps enjoyed, but I've learnt a lot, and I've been very interested to speak to lots of people and to learn a lot more than I knew already.
Yeah. Because what, was this your first time at a boxing?
For live, yes.
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 Now, you've investigated brain damage, I think.
Well, it's not just brain damage, also eye injury. And we've been looking at boxing today, not the history of long ago, because we know things are much better now than they used to be, but I'm afraid the new ways of looking at the brain and the eyes show, I'm afraid, the damage is still happening. It's inevitable.
Yes, but surely, I mean, I was always told, you know, if you bump your head on a lamppost, if you bump your head on a doorpost, you get a small scar or you get a small brain injury.
Yes,
way,
that's
don't
right.
You?
Yes, yes.
So it's very hard, I suppose, what to differentiate.
Yes, I think we know that the sport, especially the amateur sport's doing its best to limit it. I think what we're saying is it's bound to happen, and it is happening, and people ought to know about it. If they know about it and take the risk, we suspect they're not quite as sure about it as they ought to be. We are simply saying the damage is happening, there it is. It's not for doctors to say something should be banned. We just say it's bad for you. You must make up your mind. It may be doing more good than harm. That's not for us to say. The trouble was that the BBFC wouldn't give us any evidence, so we were a bit handicapped, but we were very impressed with the amateurs. The doctors there really seem to be very keen to do their best, but they can't prevent it.
Well, we'll be giving our views next week, but meantime we're nearing the end of bout number 6. That's between Tony Moore of Liverpool in red and Gary Oliver of North London in blue. It's been a scrappy fight, a lot of close quarter stuff, and you really long for one of these two youngsters just to stand up and jab. There's an awful lot on this bout, though, and which team goes into the final may well depend on the way the judges score this one. That's the end, and now, what will the judges say? If Tony Moore wins, Liverpool will have taken 4 bouts and be, well, in an almost impregnable position. If Oliver gets it, on the other hand, what a position that would be at 3 bouts apiece. We'll be right back for that decision.
The decision goes to Moore.
Yes, Tony Moore of Liverpool wins contest number 6 against Gary Oliver in this 8-bout semi-final. Incidentally, an earlier announcement said the judges had scored it a draw, but as we know, no such thing as a draw in amateur boxing. And we still don't know if that decision was unanimous or by a majority. Well, that means North London are trailing 4 bouts to 2. But if they could win the last 2 contests, well then, the place in the final would go to the team with the most unanimous decisions. So, what pressure's now on the next London boy in, facing Liverpool's redoubtable Gary Allen, and it's going to be Derek Granger.
Well, Derek, you're just about to go in the ring. They tell you what, you've only been boxing, what, a year and a half?
Yeah.
How many bouts have you had in that
12.
time? How many?
12.
12, and how have you done in that?
110.
110 and lost out. Well, that's a pretty good average you got there, isn't it? But you're up against a tough cookie, isn't it? An ABC champion.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I might win it.
Well, he simply has to, because if Liverpool win, they'll be indisputably through to the final.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 58.5 kilogram contest, 3 rounds of 2 minutes each round. Between and introducing in the red corner, representing Liverpool Boys Clubs, Gary Allen. And in the blue corner, representing North London Boys Clubs, Derek Granger. Allen red, Granger blue.
So, one way or another, this could be the decisive contest of this semi-final. Allen, the reigning NABC champion at his weight, and Derek Granger, North East London Divisional Junior ABA champ. And a right hand from Gary Allen, the southpaw, as Derek Granger momentarily slipping to the canvas. Mrs. Allen there, watching her son.
Southpaw's always vulnerable to right-hand counters. Oh, I don't doubt that young Derek Granger, well aware of that fact. And he's doing all right, the North London lad. He's already caused Gary Allen's nose to start bleeding. And he's got the Liverpool boy in a bit of trouble. Well, Gary Allen, reigning NABC champion, it would be a real surprise if he lost this one. And both boys taking shots, which is the stronger. He's looking a little bit distressed now, is Gary Allen. Derek Granger lands one after the bell, but no malice there, I don't think. Not intentional. Well, this is a live one.
Have a go. Okay, just take it easy now.
As he comes, right hands left hooks.
Derek
Just take it
Granger,
to him a
North
little
London
bit.
boy,
You don't like it being
looking
dished
at the
out.
moment.
Keep your hands up nice and high.
They've been boxing 18 months and had 12 contests. So
you're pushing him back now.
Lagging behind the Liverpool boy Gary Allen in the experience stakes, but I gave him that round. Two big punches, these boys, as we've already seen.
Get that jab working down.
Well, Granger's gum shield went flying there. Well, it's real no corner stuff, this. The Liverpool boy is getting caught with some good shots. But then again, so is Derek Granger. His nose starting to trickle blood now. Now, who's got the stamina? That's what it's going to come down to. Who's got the stamina, and which of these two boys really wants to win most? Well, the next couple of minutes will tell us, but desperation now, almost in the Liverpool corner.
This round here, you've got to just keep everything you've got to win it. Get out in the middle against when you get them left down going, something, work inside. Try and get him going, try and knock him out.
On your feet. Come on, you beat him. He's got nothing to lose here. You've got it all to gain. Plenty of right hands, left hooks, and keep going to it. Right, that's all the work, Derek.
Well, it could all be hinging on this last round between Gary Allen of Liverpool in red, Derek Granger, North London in blue. Granger, very much the underdog against the reigning NABC champion, giving it absolutely everything. His crowd of supporters sitting behind me, loving every minute of it. And I'm sure it's them that are lifting Granger to one last minute of effort in this contest. Well, if Granger gets this, it's going to be a major upset, believe me. And he could do it. Young Granger trying all he knows to keep North London alive in this semi-final. But he gets tagged with a left-hander there, right on the bell. What an excellent fight. And the crowd love every single moment of that. Well, both boys absolutely exhausted, and can you wonder why? Mrs. Allen looking a bit apprehensive, and I don't blame her.
I am. I'm afraid I'm a bit new. I'm just glad it's all over with, to be truthful with you.
And we do this for fun, eh?
Yeah, so he enjoys it. That's what he's chosen. He enjoys it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that contest, by a majority decision, Granger in the...
Oh, he's got it, and isn't he delighted? Well, that's a turn-up. Derek Granger, unfancied, has beaten the reigning NABC champion. And it means the match score, Liverpool 4, North London 3, and just one bout to come. And among those watching it will be Professor Brian Jeanette.
What would you say to a lot of these parents who have got boys boxing here tonight? How would you advise them?
I think that's too difficult, too difficult. I couldn't put it in a nutshell. They ought to know what's happening. If they know and want them to do it, that's their choice, not mine.
I see.
Well, it all comes down to this one. It's Dennis Oakes of Liverpool in red, Colin McMillan of North London in blue. McMillan appeared twice in the Golden Belt, won twice, won a Best Boxer award. Dennis Oakes we've seen too. He beat the Birmingham boy Des Mooney. Dennis Oakes' tactics quite clear, to hustle and bustle and try and knock McMillan out of his stride. Now, it's not enough simply for McMillan to stay out of trouble. He's got to land shots of his own. He's got a lot of natural ability, this boy, but he's got to score points and win this fight for North London. He does so many things wrong, McMillan, but he gets away with it. Holds his guard far too low, sways away from the body. Can get tagged though. And Oakes is taking this first round on work rate. First round, and it was a close round.
You see where you went straight back there? Don't do that. Meet him with a left and a right, and then go round the side. Meet him so that he runs onto it, right?
Now, if McMillan can beat Oakes, this semi-final will be decided on the number of unanimous decisions. Well, Liverpool certainly have 1 and London 2, but what about Liverpool's walkover? And what about that mysterious verdict in favour of Tony Moore just now? And anyway, what about Andy Murphy's win on a stoppage? So, at this moment, really, anything could happen. McMillan gets out of trouble quite magnificently. But Oakes is such a dangerous fighter, got through to the junior ABA finals last year. And he's just the type of fighter to beat McMillan as well.
using the ring, keeping out of trouble, but he gets tagged there with a right-hander. And a good body shot. And there's the Oakes family at ringside, cheering on Dennis and cheering on Liverpool to a place in the final, possibly. Well, the passions that this bout is arousing are almost unbelievable. McMillan in trouble. Referee Skiro taking a good look at him, and he's taking a standing count now. Box on, and the bell just in time for McMillan, and Henry's with the Liverpool boys family.
Well, how do you think Dennis done that, Rahal?
Well, he well won that one, didn't he? I think there can't be any arguing there. He's starting to do what he's capable of doing now, you know. He's a strong lad.
Now, you well lost the second, won the first. Now it's up to you, this round.
The third and final round then. Dennis Oakes of Liverpool in red, Colin McMillan of North London in blue. McMillan has got to win this round and must win it well if London are to survive. Oakes, for his part, can make any thoughts of what would happen if there was a 4-all draw, completely academic. Well, this is a fitting climax to a stupendous semi-final between Liverpool and North London. Referee Skiro pulls them apart. Tells McMillan to keep his head up. He's almost through the ropes now, McMillan. Oakes is finishing the stronger. McMillan desperately tired now. Most astonishing fight. Well, once again, what a shame there has to be a loser. But I have a feeling that Colin McMillan's dazzling run in the Golden Belt has at last come to an end.
See, when you start throwing punches, you keep him off. And that's what you should have been doing.
And here comes the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of that contest by a unanimous decision, Oakes in the red.
It's Oakes. It's Liverpool by 5 bouts to North London's 3, and they're in the final. Well, a really titanic semi-final there between North London and Liverpool. One more thing to do, and that's to award this shield for the best young boxer of the night. And my goodness, what a difficult decision for Henry Cooper. Henry's got to choose just one young boxer, so Henry, who's it going to be?
And my choice is Andy Murphy of Liverpool. Andy, congratulations. Well done, mate. Good luck to you.
Yes, good choice, I'm sure. Andy Murphy, who had that excellent contest earlier tonight with John McHugh. Well, that's it for another week, then. Now, at last, we know the final lineup for the 1984 Golden Belt competition. A fortnight ago, you'll remember, we saw Manchester, the defending champions, make it through to the final yet again. And now we've seen Liverpool, the surprise packets of this season's competition, coming from nowhere. They weren't in it last year, remember, and now they're in the 1984 final. And they've got the Best Young Boxer of the Night award, too, with Andy Murphy. And after what